Hi, good afternoon. My name is Aaron Jones. This is assignment 12.2. I tried to incorporate everything from last week because I'm a few days behind into the puzzle. So I'll go through and just kind of explain what it was I was trying to do and then show the blueprints to show the requirements for the assignment. Alright, so for each of the three orbs, they each have a different weight, so they feel very different to push around. I know that's not really easy to tell from the gameplay, but also they have the look, no look, so if they're front half, back half, you can't see them or you can see them, which makes it a little bit more challenging. So when you turn your back, if your character away from the orb, you lose track of where it is. So obviously the goal is to get each one of the orbs into the corresponding colored sections. So then that unlocks the puzzle solved, which makes the building become solid. It also removes these blockers, these blocking volumes right here at each one of the entrances, so that you can actually go inside. So you solve the puzzle on the outside, then you go in and find this crystal that's encased in a barrier that you can't get to. And so when you move into this trigger volume right here, that spawns this light so that you can see that there are a couple more trigger volumes that will activate when the player steps in. One makes the eyes visible so that the player can see that they have visitors. The other, the area where the look, the facing, the angle will activate. So basically if you're standing over here and you look up at the eye, which hasn't even spawned yet, so you wouldn't know it's there, you can't activate that look, right? The look at a specific location. So when you move into the red circle, the eyes spawn. That makes the look. I forget what it's called. Activate. So you look up at this guy. That causes the view to move back to this camera right here. So you can see that this nice eye fellow has deactivated the barrier so that you can get to the crystal. Okay, so then you go grab the crystal. When you step out of this trigger volume right here, that the light disappears. When you step out of the light, all of the eyes disappear. And then, so then everything's gone except for the petals, the blue light, and the building. And so then you keep running. So here's my double trigger. This trigger box is to activate it, to activate the building because it's invisible before that. And then this trigger box right here is the exit. So when you actually exit this outer trigger box, then everything disappears. Basically, the whole building vanishes back into the 12th dimension or whatever. And yeah, so that was kind of the goal. This is what I wanted to set up, is I wanted to have a puzzle on the outside that made the interior accessible, then have the key for the next area blocked, which required you to look up at the aliens and in order to deactivate, and then they give you the crystal and you leave and then everything vanishes. It's like they were never even there. So that was my goal anyway. So I will go into the blueprints and I did all the things. Let me pull them up real quick. Oh, I already have my puzzles. I'll pull up one. Oh, one of those and one of those. And then let's go. What do we want? Definitely want none of you. Check for victory. We want the alien barrier and the alien facility, which I named incorrectly. I think that is it. Go quickly over the stuff that doesn't really do much. Like the alien facility, the building, all it does is start invisible so that the player can't see it when they're walking up until they step into the trigger volume, and then it appears as the half in our reality phased state before it's become solid. Here's the alien barrier that surrounds the crystal or the key that you're trying to get. All it's doing is rotating, spinning. Let's look at, okay, so here is my orb. So this is the orb blueprint. Much of this is like what we went over in class. The only difference is that they start invisible. Actually, that's actually not true. This was a different idea that I forgot to delete, so this actually isn't necessary. And I guess it's overridden because the orbs don't start invisible. But so what I wanted to do with this is first of all, when the tick starts, which doesn't, it does, I wanted the orbs to check to make sure that the problem or the puzzle wasn't solved yet. So if the puzzle is solved, then it deactivates the tick. If it isn't solved, then it goes into the macro that we made into class, so in front of, and anytime that the orbs are in front of the player, then the static mesh is made visible. If the orb is behind the player, then the static mesh of the orbs is made invisible. So that way we get that phasing in and out effect for the orbs as you are trying to manipulate the puzzle. And then the puzzle light, here's the actual target. This is pretty much exactly what we went through in class to set these up, these targets. The only real difference is I needed to add a delay and the sound because the collider is a sphere instead of a cube. They kept rolling forever. So I played around with the weights to make each one of them a different weight, actually. Right? I think I already said that. But I added this delay from here on because in order to stop the orb in the target, in order to get it to confirm for the player that they had satisfied that part of the puzzle, I'm disabling the physics so that they stop right where they're at, and then I'm making both the orb and the target area, the light, invisible. And so it doesn't work quite as well as I'd like because the player is still able to make it visible when the orb is in front of the player, even with this setup, but it does make it, it is serve as confirmation that the player has successfully completed that part of the puzzle. And then finally my check for victory. This is with some minor tweaks is pretty much what we went over in class. So this is where I have my dual trigger boxes. So this is the collision component, that's the main one. You have to go into this box in order to start this section in order to make the building visible. and it also enables the tick, because the tick was, I think at some point I had the tick disabled. A lot of this was a lot of trial and error, and so I feel like there might be some legacy code that is in here that probably doesn't need to be. Um, so here's the tick. If the puzzle's already solved, um, then it will do all of this, right? It'll do a quick delay, spawn the sound, change the material of the building, the alien building, to this solid mesh. Then it'll also destroy all of the blocking volumes that I have preventing the player from going into the building before the puzzle is solved. And then it will disable the tick. And I think this is just for resource management. It doesn't need to continue to tick once the player has solved the puzzle and has entered the building. And then this is my second collision box right here that I added. This is the one that's exiting. So the reason I wanted to create this is because at the because of the orbs, because they weren't, sometimes they would stay in the world regardless. Like after I would make them visible and I would exit this before I had the double trigger box, you could still see the orbs. And so I added this and moved it a little bit further out, and then added this at the very end to destroy all the orbs because sometimes they were visible. I don't know if it's a bug or if it was just because of the way my player was facing. Anyways, this makes sure that the orbs don't survive. The problem that I had before when I had the destroy the orbs is if you walked out of the first trigger box, then you would destroy all the orbs and then you couldn't complete the puzzle. So by adding this second trigger box further out, it actually ends up on a hill, and so the orbs actually can't roll up the hill. And so that solved the problem of having the orbs disappear before the puzzle had been completed. Yeah, so I think that's everything. So this just checks for the player, sets the visibility of the alien building and the lights, the individual target lights, to invisible so the player can't see them. And then it plays the sound and it destroys the orbs to make sure that they're not visible after the player exits the building and walks away with the key. So that kind of is it. Yeah. All right. Thank you.